You are listening to CrossTalk, a safe place to discuss addiction, recovery, harm reduction, and everything in between. Support for this podcast comes from the Kentucky Opioid Response Effort and Advocates of Recovery. Content and production by the team at Turning Point Recovery Community Center. Now, buckle up and get ready for the show.
Welcome everyone to CrossTalk Recovery, the recovery podcast that supports all forms of recovery. I'm Matt Lewis, and I'm here with
Amanda Wiersma,
Matthew Harris,
Crystal Ring Martin.
Welcome you all. This one's going to be fun, sad, happy, a little bit of all those things. Today we're going to talk about the benefits and sometimes sad parts of having a pet in recovery, especially for me early in recovery. My dog, Courage, who I got like fresh out of rehab as a puppy, named him Courage because that was one of the spiritual principles that I was really striving to live by and wanted to be, facing my fears. And I got this little black lab named Courage with one blue eye. Wow. And he was the rowdy one in the litter, and I chose him because I was like, he'll remind me of where I used to come from, and I'll be having to deal with him. And, it was good. I lived on my own for the first time early in sobriety, and that's when I got him. And it gave me something to be responsible for, gave me something to come home to, to play with, to talk to. He really helped me a lot in my early sobriety. And recently I had to put him down, which is really sad, but he was there when I needed him most. And I know the benefits of it, and I have a lot of the people that we know in recovery, and that's part of the reason that Matt and Crystal are on here today, and Amanda, is because they have pets, and Crystal brings her dog with her to every meeting, and is here today. So we wanted to have them on to kind of talk about how that they found it to be helpful to have a pet. And I'm not saying you need to have a pet,
right,
to stay sober, but I'm just saying, we know that pets, or even if you're not in recovery, they can be, provide comfort, and everyone knows the benefits of having a pet, and people use them for struggling with PTSD and all kinds of different things.
Anxiety.
So anxiety, right. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and Amanda, we'll let you go first.
Well, I got I had a Great Dane. His name is Bo. When I got out of treatment in 2019, a month after I got out of treatment, I was diagnosed with stage 2A breast cancer. And I lived with my long-term boyfriend, and he worked on the riverboats. So he would be home for 21 days and then be gone for 21 days. So I was fresh out of treatment, going through the biggest battle of my life besides, recovery. And I was lonely. I was home 21 days at a time by myself. So I adopted Bo from the animal shelter. He was 2 years old, and he was kind of, at the animal shelter, they told me that he was kind of grumpy. But I think it was just the fact that his owner had left him there, and he was confused and didn't know why. Long story short, he became my best friend. I was his human. And I have struggled with anxiety. I struggle with other mental health disorders, depression. And he was my ride or die. He was always there for me. He was someone I could talk to, closed-mouth friend. I could tell him anything. He slept in the bed with me. He lay there. He was with me there through every chemo treatment. And just recently, for some reason, he started having seizures, just kind of out of nowhere. And I, too, had to put him down. And it was a hard decision to make, You don't want to see him suffer, but then it's that selfish part of you that wants to keep him because,
Yeah.
But I feel like he was a very beneficial factor of my recovery. He played a big role in my recovery, and I miss him so much. But the good news is I have another Great Dane, and her name's Jessie, and we're going to get through this together.
It's good. I mean, it's sad, but, you know, that's what I'm talking about, like having them when it mattered most, getting you through that stuff. I mean, they really are a blessing, you know. It's amazing, like all these animals in the world, and just think like you can connect with an animal that like understands when you're feeling bad or when you're feeling sick, or can, you know, and will provide something that no one else can provide, you know. Exactly, a closed-mouthed friend, even someone close to you who's there for you. You know, sometimes you just want them to shut up and just be there, and that's what, you know, a dog or a pet can do.
My greatest memory of him, though, is going to be, you know, I didn't think he was going to do well on that hike that we went on.
Yeah.
And that was just, in September? Mm-hmm. So one of my greatest memories of him is going to be the hike, the 3-mile recovery hike that we took him on.
He did great.
And he did great. He did so great. I was so proud of him. And so I'm so glad that I decided to take him on that hike.
Yeah. You'll always have that. Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you.
All right, you guys. This is your first time being on the podcast, Matt and Crystal also. So I don't want to take away any opportunity to share a little bit about your recovery journey, but also, you know, tell us what having a pet has meant to you in your recovery. And Matt, you can start us off.
All right. So I got sober in July 11th of 2021, and I went through residential long-term treatment. I'm not going to get into many details of my recovery journey, but after being sober a couple of years, man, me and the girlfriend I have currently, we have 3 pets. Every one of our pets is a rescue. I definitely believe that animals play a role in recovery, man. They give us something to love and support, and give us a degree of responsibility too, as well as being there to help us emotionally, you know.
Right.
The one we've had the longest is Emmy. She's a pit bull. We got her as a rescue from some of my girlfriend's family, and she is goofy as can be, and I love it. You know, she's a pit bull, and most of them think they're lap dogs, and she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I love it. Just having responsibility after living life so long recklessly, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We ran on self-will, and we're really, I mean, you know, we weren't taking care of ourselves, sometimes our children, definitely not other animals well, you know. I mean, at least that was my experience. And to be able to, like, as you're young in recovery or early in recovery, and you're like trying to be a responsible person, trying to be thoughtful of other things, trying to relearn how to function in society and be someone who's trustworthy and deserving of responsibility to care for things. Yeah, it's just like that's such a great place, and they often will help you with that. Whether it be, I know for me, like you say, your dog is goofy. You know, Courage he's a black lab bloodhound mix, and he never met anybody that he didn't like, and but he also would always jump up on everybody. Like, didn't realize how big he was, you know. And
yeah, the big ones never do.
Yeah,
No, they
yeah,
don't.
lap dog. It's like he'd try to sit in your lap, and you're like, you can't even move when he's on top of you. But he also like would tear things up, and he was a challenge, and that gave me the opportunity to like practice some of the things the tools that we have in this program of acceptance and
Patience.
anger, patience. Yeah, like being able to control these. Like, I'm freaking out on this dog isn't going to do any good, and if I can't control my emotions dealing with this dog, then how am I going to be able to control them dealing with other people that are going to do things that upset me and piss me off? It's just, I don't know. For me, that's how I looked at it, and I was like, this is a chance for me to practice and learn and grow.
Absolutely.
And I don't know.
Yeah, man, I agree completely. It's a great gateway to just introducing responsibility again, man. I love how you said something about, we weren't necessarily good parents to our children out there in the madness, and my animals are my children. You know what I'm saying? So I get to be there for them as well as they be there for me, man. And they help us through our trauma, man. But like sometimes, like especially with rescue animals, man, they might have a degree of trauma themselves.
Yeah, that's true.
I know our pit bull did. Like at somewhere in her past, I would say she's been abused because when we first got her, I could grab that leash and it's like someone had beat her with a leash or something before, because whenever you grab that leash, like to go take her outside, she would immediately cower down and pee and whatnot, So we had to struggle with that at first and have patience and tolerance with that,
Yeah.
So that helped me to employ certain spiritual principles into my life again, And as much as I could help the animal through her trauma and getting her used to people again, because she was real skittish at first, she finally come out of her shell. Now she doesn't know a stranger, man. She's goofy. She'll bark at someone and wag her tail at the same time.
Courage used to do that all the time too. Towards the end, he was getting kind of food aggressive, but he would come up to you and his tail would be wagging. Then he'd growl. I'm like, what? Are you happy? Are you sad? Like, what's going on with you?
They might be just as confused as we are sometimes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like what you said about how as much as we comfort them, they comfort us. I found a lot of comfort in some nights. I've had grown children move out, move back in, and a granddaughter diagnosed with a brain tumor. And there are nights that I just want to lay there and just knowing that there's another body there, and just the fact that he provided so much comfort with just being there, and knowing that I don't have to talk, I don't have to do anything, and just lay there and rub his back, and his head, and just finding the peace in that, just petting a dog, does something to you, to your soul.
For sure.
And also when you come home and they're so happy to see you, and I don't know, there was just something in that that I miss about Bo, but like I said, I have my other dog at home. She's it's not quite the same because she's got her own little personality. She's kind of a goofball like yours. But I'm adapting to her personality, and she's going to fit in her own right. And, she's going to be a good dog, a good fit for our family. Not that she wasn't before, but she was kind of like the redheaded stepchild.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I like that you mentioned that, and about the trauma, the scenario with the trauma. That was a really good point.
We'll be right back.
Hey y'all, did you know it's illegal to own just one guinea pig in Switzerland because they get lonely? Here at Turning Point, we don't want you to ever be lonely either. That's why we're open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Always feel free to come hang with our friendly staff, and don't forget your guinea pig. We're located at 415 Broadway Street, downtown Paducah. As a woman in recovery, I know how important having a fellowship of women has been for me. Come join us at the Women of Worth All Recovery Support Group here at Turning Point, 415 Broadway, Paducah, Kentucky, every Friday night at 6 p.m., where we discuss our personal experiences in recovery. Hope to see you there.
I love how you talked about them being excited. Man, there ain't a better feeling in the world, man, coming home from a long day of working like 12 hours or better or something. And, I work in the recovery field, so it can be emotionally taxing sometimes, man. Yeah. And just being drained and then there they are to meet me at the door, just wagging their tails and happy as can be, man. There's not a better feeling in the world,
not.
man. I love it. I joke with the old lady all the time. I'm like, I wish you got half as excited to see me as the puppies do, you know.
Yeah, so true. Well, Crystal, who we got here?
Well, this is Sybil. I got her when she was 5 weeks, and I was probably, I was just a few months into my recovery, my first recovery before date was 11/5/21, and I got her March of 22 at 5 weeks old, and she has been my rock. I had another dog too. His name was Mitchell. Matter of fact, I was in basically a custody battle with my mother trying to get him back when he passed away. He was 10 and a half years old, and I had him since he was 13 weeks old. But I had her too, so when he passed, it was hard, but having her, she's got so much personality. She fits her name. She fits her name. I mean, she'll be growling at you in her tail wagging, you know, and she sounds so vicious, like she's gonna tear something up, and she's growling at me now. But she's got little dog syndrome. And you better stop it.
Well, I know you have a love-hate relationship with her.
Oh no, she loves me. I went out of town the 18th of. I'm gonna put you in a cage. You can't be nice. You got to go in there. I went out of town for a couple of days and didn't take her with me, and she stayed with my kids and their dad, and they said she got so depressed, and she was like, when I got home, she was happy to see me. She's been my rock. I mean, in my recovery, I had a relapse at 18 months, 8 days. May 13th of 23, I relapsed. And thankfully I made it back. But she had been there with me through it all, seen it all. I mean, we can't really understand what they do understand, what they don't understand, but I noticed that when I would do what I would do, she would be more distant because she didn't like the fact that I was hurting myself to try to,
Yeah.
So, and then, she's actually a really super awesome dog. She's very well house trained. She don't have accidents in the house and stuff like that. And whereas it took me 6 years to train my other Dachshund. Well, I was at my wit's end with him, but but finally, But anyway, she went on AA retreat with me when she was about 8 weeks old, and then we went on an NA retreat, and she disappeared. I was asleep in my tent, and I heard her barking, and I hadn't zipped the bottom all the way, and she had managed to get out and couldn't figure out how to get back in. And I was like,
I would have panicked.
I did panic. I went into full-fledged panic. Where are you at? Because it's pitch black. You can't see your hands in front of your face, much less a black dog. And, but, she when we first come to meetings, whether it be here or other places we go, she, at first, she's kind of whiny and wants to play and stuff, but as soon as we say the Serenity Prayer, she calms right down and stays calm until it's time to say the Serenity Prayer to end it's all up. She said, I just sat here an hour being quiet. Now it's time to hear me. But she's, I don't know what I'd do without her. I have her, she's an emotional support dog. For anxiety, depression, and PTSD I suffer from, so she knows when I need her, because she just lays on me when I'm at home. and she just lays on me, just lays. Now she when I first get home from work, she wants to play. You know, she hasn't seen me all day, and she's all over the place and stuff like that. And I'm like, Mama's tired. She don't want to play like this. I've been on my feet for 10 hours, you know. But we do it, and then she gets it out of her system. Then we go inside and we lay down. So, everybody loves her. I mean, I've seen full-grown macho men be reduced to girls, you know, basically over her. I'm like, it's okay. You know, she's definitely, she's got a lot of character in her, a lot of personality, and I don't know what I would do if I lost her. I really don't. She's my rock. My husband is not here with me at the moment, and I worry about him when he gets home, how she's going to react to him, because, I mean, people can't even give me hugs at the meetings without her, you know, about to lose her crap. So imagine, I told him. So, yeah, I don't know how she's going to react to when he gets home. So,
Yeah, I can't imagine you without her. You know, ever since you've been coming here to the meetings and stuff, she's always been with you.
Yeah.
And everyone kind
Definitely.
of adopted her, you know. And, you know, you'll go do a one-on-one session and we'll watch her, you know, things like that, and play with her. It's nice to, you know, I used to bring Courage around here when he was real young, but he got too rowdy and too big.
Chewed
to
on
be
the furniture.
bringing- Yeah. Brendan don't like that.
Yeah.
But
It's okay. I'll bring it up.
yeah. But I was thinking, like you said, Matt, that you had 2 cats or one cat.
1 cat and 2 dogs.
Okay. And, you know, cats, I've never been a cat person.
Cat person.
But when Courage was about, I don't know, coming up on 2 years old, my roommate got a cat. And they encourage, you know, I didn't know how he was going to react to it, like, because he'd always been just him in the house. And they fell in love immediately, like, became best friends. And that cat would fight right back. Courage would put the whole cat in its mouth, but not like trying to eat it. And that cat would just sit there, and when he got sick of it, he would fight back. And
Let him know.
they began this relationship of, like, fighting and playing, and we got to where we were just leaving them both out together all day long, and come home and they'd be snuggled up next to each other sleeping. And it was nice for Courage to have a friend finally, because he had always just been, like, when I'm gone all day, he was by himself. For a while I had him kenneled, and then it got to the point where I was leaving him out, and then we got the cat, and he had somebody to play with. Like, instead of, he was still happy to see me when I came home, but he wasn't as, like, he was already kind of worn out because he'd been playing all day, you know, and I didn't have to do as much, but which I kind of missed, but also it was nice to a certain extent. And I don't know what your cat's like.
Man, she's a character for sure. I'm highly convinced she doesn't like anybody in the house except for my girlfriend and the puppy. It's kind of like the same deal with your roommate's cat and your dog, man. We got our newest puppy. He's a rescue. One of our therapists at the place I work actually found him in a ditch, and he was ate up with worms and had hair missing, and he was having seizures and stuff. So we took him to the vet and got him better, and I ended up keeping him. But the cat, the first day, didn't know what to think. Then day 2, oh man, it's like instantly in love. They were little buddies, you know. We'd put them together, and she wouldn't react at all to the puppy nibbling on her and stuff. Now he's gotten a little bigger. He fights back too a little bit, and it's freaking adorable, man.
Yeah.
But the cat will start it sometimes. She'll like come running from across the house and just tackle him and all that. it's freaking hilarious. But then the big pit bull, she's scared to death of the cat.
Really?
Yeah, the cat's trained her to be, though. Like,
Right.
the cat can get up by Emmy and just raise her paw, and Emmy be like, no. But the cat and Ebby, our little puppy, we named him Ebby.
Yeah.
Oh, Ebby Thatcher.
Ebby
Ebby Thatcher, yeah.
Yeah.
Nerd.
Nerd alert.
Nerd alert. But yes, it is adorable man.
We'll be right back.
Did you know that recovery from substance use disorder and mental health go hand in hand? That is why the caring and compassionate mental health professionals at Four Rivers Behavioral Health in Paducah are here to help you find your balance. They are proud of you for making the changes necessary to live a healthier life and would love to see you reach your full potential. Give them a call at 270-442-7121 or stop by the downtown location at 425 Broadway in Paducah, Kentucky.
Hello, everybody. You want to know something? My biggest issue with meetings is despite their name, they are never about me. Here at Turning Point, all of our meetings are for you and about you. We have meetings at least 3 times a day, 7 days a week. We are located at 415 Broadway, Paducah, Kentucky. Call 270-444-3621 for more information.
That puppy, though, man, he is trying. That is a good reminder to have patience, if anything. Man,
Yeah.
I forgot how they were when they were puppies, man.
Yeah, some of them are slow learners, and there's going to be accidents, and they're going to, I know Courage tore up several of my shoes, a couple rugs, you know, like, take things and hide them that I couldn't. It took me forever to find. I just had given up on them, then I find them like months later, somewhere ridiculous. And, you know, that's the stuff that was kind of aggravating, but also, like I said, I looked at it as an opportunity to practice the tools that I've been given in this program, and like I ended up laughing about a lot of it, you know, and it didn't last forever. Like he learned, you know, he learned to behave, he learned to go to the potty outside. I had him taught how to sit and shake and sit up, and you know. And I wished I could have worked with him more than I did. You know, that's probably my only regret. The only regret is that I had spent more time like trying to train him. But you know, I'm always gonna think fondly of him. Like I got shirts made of this picture on him. I painted a picture of him. I painted this picture Amanda's holding of her dog Bo, and you know, it's just. You know, it's a grieving process, you know, but, I mean, I can't imagine that I've gotten through, like, extremely beneficial to me in my early recovery. And, you know, I'm not saying, like I said earlier, I'm not saying everybody has to get a pet to stay sober. And, you know, some people aren't even ready for that responsibility because it's a lot, you know, and you gotta be financially to a certain point because they're expensive to take them to vets, and
it's a big commitment.
Yeah,
Very big.
It is. And I didn't even realize how big when I did it. Like I struggled at times, like making, you know, I went without because I had to make sure that he was eating or that he went to the vet. Because he always would have this reoccurring ear rash thing that I'd have to take, like every 3 months, I'd have to take him in to get some kind of medicine for his ear rash. And just some allergy, but it got expensive, you know. But I regret none of it, you know. And it was definitely a learning experience and lots of fond memories and the great pictures that I have. And, you know, those will always be there. Memories will always be there.
Yeah, they will. And, you know, when you're taking care of a pet, man, I feel like you end up learning more about yourself in the way that you take care of them, you know?
Yeah.
Well, and it's also very rewarding. Like you were saying, you teach them how to, you know, you train them. And that's a sense of, like, accomplishment for yourself. You're like, oh, my gosh, I taught this puppy how to sit, you know, heel, roll over, you know. That's also really cool. You know, you're early in recovery and you're feeling kind of like, oh, I can't do anything, and, you know, but you're teaching this animal how to, like, do cool stuff, you know.
Right.
I taught Sybil how to dance. She'll dance on her little back legs, you know, to get a treat. You know, she'll dance around to get it. And she's been doing it since she was little. We also have another dog. It's a German Shepherd, and she's older. She's my son's dog, and Sybil plays with her, but there's been a couple times Diamond's put like her whole head Sybil's whole head in her mouth, and Sybil's like, "That's it, I'm done. You know, no more playing." And she goes and hides. The good thing, she's little, she can, get into small spaces. She don't do it to hurt her. She, but they're playing. But they go outside and that run, and Diamond can't catch Sybil. She may be short and she may be little, but she's fast. She's so fast, and then she'll switch ways going, and Diamond will almost fall over trying to, change directions. So, that's my son's dog, and she has her to play with. But when I'm gone, I've been told that she just stays in my bed until, like, they don't even know she's there until I come home. They're like, "Well, we didn't even know she was here," because I can't take her to work and school with me. So she has to stay at home. She don't like it either. She tells me all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, something you said earlier, Crystal, sparked something. You said something about grown big men being reduced to tears. Why is it that animals and babies bring that out in us, man? People in recovery, I feel like.
They do.
Yeah, you can take a big old burly biker and put a baby or a puppy in front of them, and man.
They just melt.
Yeah. That's true.
It is, yeah.
They'd be like, "How did it?" And I'm like, okay.
Because they look big and scary, but they're just big teddy bears, and that shows who people truly are. I think, a lot of an addiction is us trying to cover up things about ourselves that we maybe aren't comfortable with, or trying to run from, and we're trying to people please, and we think we have to be some version of whoever we're hanging around with. We got to please them. I got to be this tough man who doesn't cry, or I got to be this, and once we get sober and we start to learn to love ourselves for who we are, and we start dealing with our emotions in a more healthy way, then our true nature comes out. And most people in recovery are good people who've just dealt with some sort of trauma, or had some life experiences, or made some bad choices, and that true self comes out, and that's an example of it with puppies and, children, and, like Sam's always talking about how he doesn't want kids, but you bring a kid around him and he picks it up and smiles, and kids love him, and I'm like, get you a kid. But yeah, man, it's funny, man. And it's just, recovery is such a beautiful thing in so many aspects, because you can, when you're in it, and you can recognize some of these things, like you said, Matt, like how I dealt with him as a puppy, Courage as a puppy, was a learning experience. Like, because I'll admit, like, the first time he tore up a pair of my shoes, I was angry, and like, I had to take a look at that. Like, it's not like I whipped him, but it was like, he's just doing what he does. He's a puppy who don't know any better. Yeah. Like, these are just shoes, and I don't even have nice shoes. So it's like, why was I getting angry? And that helped me to take a look at myself. Like, I can control my anger in this situation, and I can control it in any situation if I choose to. It's about how you let things affect you. That's what I learned in recovery. We have control over how things affect us. I mean, if we can let things affect us negatively, or we can, choose to handle them in a different way. And that's working recovery. That's controlling our emotions. That's, and all of it is part of learning experience, man. And I'm glad to have had Courage for the time I did. And I appreciate you guys all coming on today to talk about your pets. And I know, Amanda, this was hard for you, talking about Bo.
It is, but thank you for asking me to come. And thank you so much for the picture.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep, and maybe next time I can bring Jesse.
Yeah, I'd love that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, so I seen a quote yesterday, right? And it said, what was it? It said, the reason God didn't give animals the ability to speak is because they're here to show us that actions and empathy are the way to love and not words.
That's awesome.
And I really like that, so I thought I'd share that. That's
really good.
I just wanted to say something. I can't be in the worst mood when I come home from work, because I'm at Walmart doing like stuff, and I get grief from the Walmart people, and customers ask me if I work there, and when I tell them no, they get mad, and I just have a really bad day, and I go home, and she's just so happy to see me, and it just melts my heart. But at the same time, I miss her when she was little. So, I mean, when she fit in my hand, and just her face, her little puppy face. Now she's just growing. She's gonna be 3 years old the 21st of December.
big
She's growing
girl.
up too, growing up so fast.
Yeah.
But she's always happy to see me, and that's one thing about animals. Their love is unconditional. As long as you don't mistreat them and you're good to them, they love you unconditionally, and they're always. I mean, I don't know I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Sybil. My cousin gave me Sybil when I was probably at the lowest point in my life. I was in recovery, but I was isolated, and like I said, I suffer from depression and anxiety, and I was very suicidal. And she brought me Sybil, and Sybil had like 4 names before we came to Sybil. And it just came to me one day. She was acting a certain way. I said, "Sybil's your name," and it fits her to the T. And she saved my life. She did. She truly did. Without her, I don't think I would be here.
It's awesome.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad you got her. I'm glad she saved your life. I think we're all glad for the experiences we've had. And, if you're in recovery and you can afford it, get you a pet. If not, get connected. Stay around other positive people that are going to be there to support you. That doesn't have to have a pet, but we can't do this alone. We cannot do this alone. We need each other. So remember that we're always here at Turning Point. Thank you guys for coming on. Check us out on YouTube or listen to our audio versions on Apple, Google, Spotify, Podbean, Amazon Music. And as always, stay grateful.
If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction or in recovery and needs guidance, speak with Turning Point's team of peer support specialists by calling 270-444-3621. You are not alone, and we are proof that recovery is possible.